Hey, what's up, guys? This is Harry Dell, and welcome to another video here on Boxing Chat. So, Keith, one-time Thurman. First of all, I'm not going to talk about how impressed I was with Thurman's hand speed, his footwork, his ring IQ, all that stuff. The reason why is because I already knew he had those qualities. I already knew he had those skills, and a lot of people didn't. And I think that's funny because, before the fight, everyone kept assuming Thurman just has power. Oh, well, without his power, he's nothing. That's why he's hyped. He's nothing. He has no boxing skill. He has no footwork. He has no ring IQ. None of that shit. So it's funny how everybody just flips over. Oh wow, they're just like turning heads, just talking about how Thurman, his footwork, and they didn't know he had it and all this. And anyways, you realize it now, right? Did you realize it now? Thurman is the complete package. I said this 2 years ago, when everybody was still hyping up Canelo, when everyone was hyping up Broner, Thurman was under the radar, slowly getting better, showing us every fight something new. But, I understand the reason why Thurman was getting a lot of hate, and still is. But I understood why he was getting a lot of hate before the Guerrero fight. Talking about how Thurman just has power and this and that. Just because the reason why they just talked about his power is because his power is elite. Thurman has elite power, and when that happens, everybody just falls in love with the power. So people tend to forget about, oh, he can also box. Oh, he knows. Oh, he's fast. Oh, he knows how to move his feet. That's what happens. So going into this fight, people forgot about all that. And so they were just like, Thurman's power, it's not going to hold up against Guerrero's chin. Guerrero, yeah, he's a tough motherfucker. A tough, dirty fighter. Because that head clash, I honestly believed that hematoma that happened in the third round, I thought the fight was done. I was like, oh, here we go. They're going to go one more round. They're going to go to the scorecards. I don't think Thurman's going to be able to continue. I don't think he can. So that surprised me about Thurman. And that's what I'm going to talk about, is his toughness. Thurman is tough. He not just showed us, of course, what I already knew was his hand speed, his footwork, everything. He also showed me something that I wasn't sure about, was that Thurman is tough. And he will go through anything in order to get the win. He's not going to quit. All right? Thurman is not a quitter. So you can check that off the list. Thurman is a real fucking fighter. And I'm excited for the Premier Boxing Champions series, because I feel that PBC is the future of boxing. When people talk about boxing, they're going to talk about PBC. Just like when people say, football, everyone thinks NFL. When people think about basketball, they think NBA. And so on and so forth for the rest of the sports, at least the major ones here in the United States. When people think boxing, they're going to think PBC. And Thurman's performance saved the night, because the undercard was horrible. Broner, you had a dead man in front of you and you didn't do anything about it. Now, I don't want to rant too long, okay? I don't want to make this video a long video of me ranting. That is fun sometimes, but I don't want to do that right now. Point is, Broner, he ruined it for himself. The comments he said after the fight, that, oh, I don't fight for the fans because if I fight for the last time I did that, I lost. Or the fans don't pay my bills. You're done, Broner. You fucked up. You stupid fuck. That's what you get. No one's going to want to see you fight. And if they do, they're going to want to make sure you're going in there with a killer so they can see you get your ass destroyed. And that's most likely going to be Sean Porter. So if Sean Porter wins next week, don't be surprised if we see Broner versus Porter sometime in the beginning of the summer. Okay? Don't be surprised, because that's a good matchup. And also, okay, I'll be honest, it's a good matchup for Porter, because Porter will just destroy Broner. Okay, Broner, you're too big to be a junior welterweight, but you're not big enough to be a welterweight. That's what you get for fucking getting fat between fights. So you're in a fucked up situation, but that's just how it is. Anyways, I want to talk a little bit more about Keith. Many people want to see him go against the winner of Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and believe me, I do too. But I don't think that's going to happen. Just because there's a lot of talks that Mayweather and Pacquiao, both, whoever wins, whoever loses, they're done. They're going to hang him up. And I see that happening. If Mayweather wins, who the hell else is he going to fight? That makes sense for him. I want to see him go against Thurman. And if Pacquiao wins, I want to see Pacquiao fight Thurman. But I think these guys, after the money they're going to make, they're going to just call it a farewell. And goodbye, good riddance. They're going to walk away. And then we're going to have this new generation. And Thurman is in the lead right now. I want to talk about the PBC series itself. People were talking about in the comments section on other videos on, I think it was 78 Sports TV's video, one of his videos. Shout out to 78. Oh, and by the way, he was the one that was talking about Keith Thurman before anybody else was, okay? So when I wanted to learn about Keith Thurman, I went to his channel. So make sure you check him out. You know, there was some comments referring to how at the end of the fight, when Thurman was announced the winner, his trainer was lifting up the belt, and somebody from, I guess, whoever's in charge of I don't know, whoever was there, made him put down the belt. If you actually watch the fight and you catch the end, when when Thurman's raising his hand and you see his trainer lifting up his belt, they almost told him, "Hey, put that down. Don't raise that belt up." And I was like, why the hell did they do that? And then I go back and watch the beginning. Never once did they introduce Keith Thurman as the champion. At the end of the fight, when they announced the winner, they didn't say, "And still, the WBA champion of the world." None of that. Okay, they just said, "And still undefeated." He was not. This was not for a championship fight. And if it was for a championship fight, PBC was not going to let you know. But I highly doubt it. It doesn't seem like it was for a world title. And I believe there's a reason for that. And that's because PBC will have their own belts. Just like the UFC, how when the UFC champion is a UFC champion of the world, okay? They're considered champions of the world. The UFC champions are considered champions of the world. Just like in football, when they're lifting up the trophy, the champions of the world, right? Or in the NBA, when whoever wins the finals, they're considered champions of the world. Although there's a lot of different leagues throughout the world. Okay, but the reason is because the NBA is just the centerpiece. The world, the basketball, NBA is basketball, just like the NFL is football. And PBC wants to be that. They want to be boxing. So whoever would be the PBC champion is the champion of the world. And I believe that is why Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson is not at 140. Because if it would have been at 140 and none of the belts would be on the line, people would be going insane. People would be going crazy. They're fighting at 140, but they're not fighting for their belts. But now I'm starting to see the clues. They're fighting at 143. The excuse is Danny can't make 140. Lamont can't. They're looks like they're growing out of the division, which might also be true. But they're at a catchweight at 143 at welterweight because none of the belts were going to be on the line anyway. And the fighters don't mind, man, because they don't have to pay sanctioning fees. So I'm telling you, they're going to make PBC champions. They're not going to do it right away, obviously. They weren't going to have Thurman and Guerrero fight for the PBC championship of the world. No, they're warming us up. They're going to show us different fighters in the divisions. And then eventually, possibly at the end of this year or possibly in the beginning of next year, we're going to see somebody go up against somebody for the title at this division. I think that's what's going to happen. So look out for the next fight, Adonis Stevenson versus Sakio Bika. If they don't announce Adonis as the champion, if they don't proclaim him champion, or if whoever wins the fight isn't the champion, whatever, mark my words, the clues are they're gonna keep coming. They're gonna be, oh, okay, now I know for sure they're not going to include these belts in this series because PBC will have their own belts. And not only is Al Heyman, pretty much exiling Golden Boy Promotions, Top Rank, and all the other small promotions that don't want to work with Al, he's not only pushing them off to the side and draining them out, but he's also going to drain out the sanctioning bodies, the WBA, WBC, WBO, IBF. He's taking them all out of the equation, and none of those sanctioning bodies are going to matter within the next year or two. Trust me. Those belts aren't going to mean shit anymore. They're just going to be fond memories of the old days of boxing. PBC will have their own belts, their own champions. They will be considered the champions of the world. But anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm impressed with the series. I'm looking forward to the fight this Friday. I want to know what you guys think about Premier Boxing Champions. I want to know what you guys think about Thurman's performance, Broner's performance, who's next for the winners of this past Saturday night, and what were you most impressed by on the inaugural night of PBC? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, see you later, guys.